Okay, this is just a quick one. I can lay out instructions. We're going to carry on with our non-fiction writing and we're going to look at writing a set of instructions. Now on the board, I've created some instructions for how to make a pancake. You'll notice one of the first things I've got up here is a title, okay? All instructions need to have a title to explain what it's about, so how to make pancakes. When you do your instructions, it can be on anything, okay? I'll give a few suggestions at the end of the video. Now, we shouldn't split the page like this, but because of the board, I couldn't write it all the way down. The first thing I'm going to do is list my equipment, okay? Now, I've got this as a subheading, okay? Remember, subheading. We've got the whole thing, which is how to make a pancake. Now, we're breaking it down into little parts, okay? So first, the equipment. Equipment is not things I eat, they're things I use. So in the classroom, the equipment might be a pencil, a rubber, and a ruler. In the kitchen, especially for making this one, the equipment I'm going to need is a pan, a ladle, and a stove. That's going to be really important for this. Actually, another thing I should probably add onto this is some sort of whisk. It doesn't have to be a whisk, it could be a fork, it doesn't really matter. Okay, next subheading. Oh, do you notice I've split these up with bullet points, okay? I've broken it down. Rather than just having a list of equipment, the bullet points make it nice and clear for the reader. Now I've got my ingredients for what do I need to make a pancake? I need milk, flour, butter, eggs, and salt. Those are not full sentences, okay? Because they're with the bullet points like that, they don't need capital letters or full stops. They are just quick and easy things to point out what we need. So equipment are the things we use. Ingredients are the things that we're either going to eat or the things that we mix. So that's what we're going to need to have as well. So 2 subheadings, equipment, ingredient. Now we're on to our 3rd subheading, instructions. This is the important part. Now, the way I've started each of these is with some kind of bossy verb, okay? Imperative verbs. I'm going to call them a bossy verb. They're telling you what to do. Mix it, heat it, add it, cook it, transfer it. Okay, you're ordering somebody. So for each of these, I've started with some kind of verb telling the person what to do. Mix the flour, milk, and eggs. Okay, notice I've used a comma here. I don't go flour and milk and eggs. Okay, flour, comma, milk, and eggs into a thick paste. I'm adding a little bit of extra detail because the people are going to need to know, do I just mix it once, twice? No, I'm going to wait until it's a thick paste. Not just a paste, but a thick paste. Can you see how I'm using those adjectives to enhance my instructions? Heat up the pan and carefully, really good, I want to see this, adverbs. You're not just placing the butter and bleh, it's a hot pan. How should you do it? Carefully place the hot butter in. So heat up the pan and carefully place the butter in until it melts. Right? Again, I'm extending my sentence to tell you a little bit more. You don't just pop it in and off you go. You need to wait until it melts. Can you see for both of these, I've explained how long I'm going to be mixing it until it's a thick paste, how long I'm going to leave the butter in until it melts. Okay? All that extra information is so important. I will be looking for that in your work. Add a ladle full of batter so you have a thin base. Okay, why am I adding the ladle? Well, I want a thin base. I don't just pour it all in. Get a ladle, pour it in. I want to just cover the surroundings of the pan. As I talk about it, I realise I might want to add a little bit more about this. Yeah, I might say, comma, it should cover the pan. Yeah? You might want to talk about spreading it out and moving it out. Think about every step of the instruction. Imagine when you write an instruction that the person who is doing it hasn't a clue about it at all. They've never done it before. You need to be giving them a step-by-step on exactly what to do. When you miss out a detail, the person reading your instructions misses that detail too. They don't know what's in your brain. Cook the pan for 30 to 40 seconds. Really important in instructions, giving some sort of time, some length. I might have, if I'd been better at this, but I don't actually know, I might have said the amount of flour I need, so whether it's 100, 200, 300 grams, okay, how much of each. Flipping it further 30 seconds, so I'm giving the information, and finally transfer to your plate. At this point, it's probably obvious you want to eat it, but you might want to put a note at the bottom about, now you can enjoy it. Do you know what you could do? You could have extra information. You might enjoy your pancake with a little sprinkling of sugar and lemon. Perhaps you could use some chocolate spread on it. Okay, you can explain whatever you want. So, I know I rushed through that, but actually using all the skills that we've been looking at in our non-fiction, the bullet points, the subheadings, having a title that explains what it's all about, breaking up your work into separate parts, it should be really obvious. Now, I've done pancakes. So you cannot do that. You might want to choose something else that you could cook. It might be some sort of a cupcake, it might be making a pie, you might be making I don't know, well, whatever it might be. I'm excited, it could be a curry. Or what you could do is do some instructions for something else. Now, Mrs. Penn showed Mr. Keeling and me how to make some Eid stars. Why don't you do the instructions on that? Equipment, you will need scissors, you will need glue, you will need paper. How do you do it? First, get the paper, fold it into a square. It's quite simple to do instructions about anything. You might teach me how to do something, perhaps it's some origami, perhaps it's those little hand paper things that open up, when you play that game. I don't know how to make that. Write me some instructions and show me. One thing's missing from this that would be great, a diagram. Diagrams are little pictures that show people how to do it, and they are really important when you're making instructions. I could read all this and I might not know what a ladle is. So why don't I draw a picture of a ladle to explain to the person what a ladle is going to look like. That's going to help the person to understand what I'm looking for. I might not know what a whisk is, okay? So I want to draw a little picture of a whisk. Pictures really help people to understand things. This is not a story. This isn't counting as doodling. It's non-fiction. This is about getting the information to the reader as quickly, clearly, and succinctly as possible. Your instructions, by the way, could be on something else. It could be about a game that you're playing or how to make anything, how to do something in the garden. I don't mind, but I'm really excited to see what instructions you make me. Non-fiction writing. Email it in. Off you go.